Welcome to the pre-job review for contractors video and review test, which are required safety orientation for all contractors and contractor employees working on Keystone Steel and Wire Company premises. Please note there are no exceptions, and anyone found working on site who has not seen this video and passed the accompanying test will be pulled off the job. In the event the individual pulled from the job is essential to completing the work, the job will be shut down. Contractor employees may bring essentials only into the plant. These include lunches, toolboxes, and work clothes. Security and plant protection policies prohibit any other items, and all such items and personal vehicles are subject to search and inspection by Keystone Security personnel upon entering and leaving the plant site. Failure to submit to search and inspection will be sufficient grounds for barring or restricting the individual from further entry onto Keystone property. Contractor employees must park all personal vehicles only in areas designated by the Authorized Keystone Representative. Keystone is not liable for these vehicles nor the contents left in them. All emergencies must be reported immediately to Keystone Steel and Wire Security via the emergency phone system. The in-plant emergency phone number is 7911. Keystone first responders are available upon notice to provide emergency medical treatment up to the level of first responder. For advanced emergency medical treatment, Keystone will summon outside emergency assistance. Keystone uses Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois and the Bartonville Volunteer Fire Department for advanced emergency medical treatment. The use of fire hydrants as a source of water is prohibited without the consent of the Authorized Keystone Representative. In the event of a fire, contractors must immediately notify Keystone Security using the in-plant emergency phone number 7911 and the Authorized Keystone Representative. Flammable liquids may only be transported in containers approved by Underwriters Laboratories. These containers must be clearly labeled to identify the contents. All open fires are prohibited. All work done in Keystone-designated critical fire hazard areas requires a special fire prevention meeting with the Authorized Keystone Representative, the Supervisor of Plant Fire Protection, and with the operating and maintenance supervisors in the department in which the fire hazard area is located. The meeting is to familiarize the contractor with the potential hazards and the precautions which must be taken. Welding is to be done only in areas approved by the Authorized Keystone Representative. Before welding, all combustibles must be removed, a fire watch provided, and fire extinguishers or other firefighting equipment as necessary placed on site. Eye and face protection is required in all areas of the steel and wire mills. Contractor shall provide its employees with all required fall protection while on Keystone premises. All contractors must follow the OSHA regulation on fall protection, 1926 Subpart M. Contractor employees must not use any Keystone ladder without the prior approval of the Authorized Keystone Representative. Respiratory protection is required when working in lead or cadmium regulated areas. Overhead cranes in the arc shop, the baghouse, stocker level, spare furnace, and EAF furnace roof are all designated by Keystone as regulated areas. Appropriate work clothing shall be worn to minimize hazards from work and to comply with applicable location rules. The required minimum is as follows. Shirts are to be worn at all times. The minimum is a t-shirt. No loose clothing shall be worn. Long pants only, no shorts. Leather, steel-toed work shoes are required. No canvas or track-type shoes. Hearing protection must be worn at all times. Safety glasses with side shields are required at all times. Contractor employees are required to wear appropriate safety equipment based upon the requirements of the area where work is to be performed and the type of work performed by the contractor. The contractor shall be solely responsible for determining the suitability and acceptability of all safety equipment for the work being performed by its employees. Contractor employees shall use their prescribed walkways, crossovers, roadways, and pathways to get to their authorized work areas. It shall be the responsibility of the contractor to prohibit its employees from entering unauthorized areas on Keystone property, other than those directly related to the work being performed. Contractor employees are not to climb on or over machinery without the approval of the Authorized Keystone Representative. All vehicles must maintain a safe speed at all times. The maximum speed limit is 10 miles per hour unless otherwise posted. All construction vehicles on Keystone property shall be subject to a safety inspection. Unsafe vehicles shall be removed from service until repaired. All warning and traffic signs must be obeyed. While operating motor vehicles or equipment on Keystone property, cell phones may not be used and seat belts must be worn at all times. Contractors working across, adjacent to, blocking, or within 6 feet of any railroad track on Keystone property must comply with Keystone safety procedures for flagging railroad traffic. Contractors must not operate any mobile equipment belonging to Keystone. Contractors must not use any tools belonging to Keystone unless specifically authorized in advance by the Authorized Keystone Representative. Contractors shall use separate personal danger tags and equipment danger tags, similar to but distinguishable from Keystone tags. When mobile equipment is not in use, it must be positioned where it will not obstruct railroad tracks, roadways, walkways, electrical lines, or temporary passageways. All equipment not in use must be secured to prevent movement or operation. Traveling truck cranes or crawler cranes must be escorted by a flagman for traffic control and to prevent damage to plant power lines, pipelines, or building structures. Contractors shall exercise good housekeeping and sanitation practices while working on Keystone property. Debris and waste material shall be cleaned daily. Tools shall be stored in toolboxes or tool sheds. Materials and supplies shall be piled or stored in an orderly manner. All stairways, passageways, and gangways shall be kept free of materials, supplies, and obstructions. Materials must be stacked to maintain safe clearances and prevent toppling. Maintain unobstructed passageways for movement of in-plant and emergency vehicles. Building material storage shall be at least 6 feet from the nearest rail along all railroad tracks and 8 feet minimum along curved tracks. Prior to quitting time daily, roofing contractors and others must remove from the roof all combustible debris, mops, and combustible materials stored in cans, buckets, and drums. All loose materials such as stacks of insulation, plywood, aluminum roof deck, steel deck, and similar materials must be secured so it cannot be blown from the roof. All drums, containers, and hollow structures which have contained toxic or flammable substances must be properly disposed of daily. Before going on any plant roof or the top of any tank, contractors must first get permission from the Authorized Keystone Representative. Before working overhead, contractors must first rope off the area below or take equivalent measures to protect personnel below from falling materials. All contractors must follow OSHA Regulation 1910, Subpart D, walking and working surfaces. Contractors will not throw or drop materials from plant roofs without prior approval from the Authorized Keystone Representative, and a protected area has been established. Before steam, water, compressed air, or electric power supplied by Keystone is used by the contractor, the points of connection, method of connection, and connected load shall first be approved by the Authorized Keystone Representative. All connections require prior approval. Prior to the start of any work performed on or near any power lines, contractors must consult with and receive approval from the Authorized Keystone Representative. Crane booms, load lines, or swinging loads must maintain a 20-foot minimum clearance from power lines, rated up to and including 50 kilovolts. For voltages higher than 50 kilovolts, the appropriate standard shall apply, 1926.550A15. A 10-foot minimum clearance shall apply to hand-carried materials and equipment, such as ladders, pipes, and similar items. It is the contractor's responsibility to provide the necessary equipment for ground fault protection or the implementation of an assured equipment grounding conductor program in connection with the use of portable power tools. Prior approval must be received from the Authorized Keystone Representative before using any explosives or blasting agents. The contractor must take adequate precautions to eliminate or control all hazards. At all times, the contractor's safety standards for entering and working in tanks, pits, manholes, and other confined spaces must meet the requirements of OSHA Regulation 1910.146. The Authorized Keystone Representative must be notified before entering a permit-required confined space. The responsibility for safe procedures, both at the time of entry and during the entire operation of entering and working in confined spaces, is the requirement of the contractor. Prior approval must be received from the Authorized Keystone Representative before any excavating is started. Contractors may proceed only after receiving proper permission regarding all known underground utilities, such as conduit, pipelines, tanks, and similar items. All trenches must be shored or sloped to prevent earth slides. Contractor employees must not use any Keystone ladder without the prior approval of the Authorized Keystone Representative. All contractor ladders must meet the requirements of OSHA Regulation 1910 Subpart D, walking and working surfaces. All rigging for material handling must be inspected prior to each lift. Scaffolding must be erected in accordance with requirements of 1926.451 OSHA scaffolding regulations. The contractor shall be responsible for the safe condition of hand and portable power tools and equipment, which is supplied to its employees. This also includes equipment furnished by the contractor's employees. No unmarked portable containers of hazardous chemicals may be used at Keystone. All portable containers intended for immediate use must first be marked with the name of the material as found on the appropriate SDS. For further information on contractor chemical accountability, refer Keystone Steel and Wire Company's contractor policy. In accordance with Illinois state law, smoking is prohibited in the following: in all office areas, main office building, wire mill office building, development center, steel mill office building, rod mill office building, arc shop, caster office building, all in-plant offices, general supervisors, and so on. There is no smoking in all stairwells and hallways. No smoking in all break rooms and lunchrooms. Smoking is not allowed in all conference rooms or meeting rooms of any nature. No smoking in all pulpits. All Keystone employees have been through DuPont's STOP training program. Employees participate in observations looking for unsafe conditions and behaviors. If any employee observes any unsafe condition or behavior, they will bring it to your attention. As a final step in this pre-job review for contractors and their employees, you will be given a written test covering many of the policies covered in this presentation. Thanks for working with all of us to keep Keystone Steel and Wire Company premises safe and accident-free. If you have questions about any of this material, please do not hesitate to ask the Authorized Keystone Representative.